Hey, my name is Kendrick, and I'm a cybersecurity engineer and owner of Technology Interpreters, where we explain complex technology like this type of stuff, and we try to make it as simple as possible so that any beginner can learn. So today I'm going to be walking you through. This is TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber 2022 event, and it's dealing with malware analysis. And so what they want us to do initially is we're going to do two types of analysis. We're going to do static analysis, which means we're going to analyze the file without executing it, without clicking on it, or whatever that makes the file run. And we're going to do dynamic analysis, which means we're going to execute the file, and then we're going to have monitoring tools in place to see what it's doing. And I'll explain this a little bit more in detail in the future. So first thing we need to do is we need to go to the malware sample, which is going to be located on the desktop malware sample, which is right here. And we'll right click on mystery GIF, and we're going to open it with detect it easy or die. Okay, so while we wait for that to open, all right, it's going to come down, and so it gives us a couple of tasks here, so we can view the strings, like basically the different things that we can do. So we want to view strings, so we can click on strings on the right hand side, and what that's essentially doing is it's looking for like readable, like word like text, links, URLs, stuff like that. And so we can go through this with strings. That's quite a bit. Now, the reality is, there's a flag we were probably looking for. We probably could find a flag like this, but that's a little bit rough, to be honest. So we probably want to use something a little bit more intelligent than just looking through the strings, okay? So, because right now, I'm not seeing anything. So our next step is they want us to go and they want us to run the program called Kappa. Okay, so it's able to detect different things, including if this is packed right now. So we're going to see. And right there, note this for later, this UPX. So this is an indicator based on the guide that this is packed. So we want to go and launch our command prompt next. And we've already got it bookmarked here. Typically, I don't know, I'll right click and run as administrator when I'm trying to do stuff. And so then we want to navigate to C:/user administrator. I'm going to type directory, see where we are, and we're going to go CD desktop. And you don't have to type the entire word. You can type directory again. We should have malware samples, cdmal. That should be enough to do it. Okay. All right, and it's CLS to clear the screen and directory. And so there's our mystery GIF. And so the command that we want to run is kappa, CAPA, mystery, and we should be able to tab that and press enter. And now the kappa program is going to run. It's going to do some analysis for us. All right, so that's looking good. Okay, so it looks like it's about to do a second line, and we're finished. So the sample appears to be packed. Packed samples are often been obfuscated. Obfuscated means basically you're doing techniques to basically hide what it's doing. Okay, so but this does mean that we've got to go back, and so now it wants us to go back to the Detect It Easy program, and we got UPX, and we want to use UPX to unpack the malware. Okay, and so that's what I was showing you earlier. This is UPX right here. The packer that is used, they've already identified it. And so the good thing is we've already got these tools installed on this version of Windows. And so our next command is going to be UPX minus or TAC-D mystery. And remember, we can tab that out. And we press enter. And so that's okay. So now that we've unpacked the file, there are a couple of files we need to look at, right? So it wants us to look at malware samples, and we have a .viv file, and it wants us to delete the .viv file. So this will make it run. This will make, I don't know if this kappa or which one is programs, but I think, yeah, it'll make kappa run again. So let's do that. Type directory, there's the .viv. So we can del mystery and then .v, and it'll automatically put the viv on there. These are all really good shortcuts to kind of save keystrokes. And we'll type enter, type directory again, and take a look, and we have deleted the viv file. All right, so now it wants us to dive into deeper analysis. So you may observe we cannot execute the binary after double clicking it. And so, well, I'm curious though, it was supposed to run this again. Do we want to run kappa again? I'm gonna go ahead and run kappa just one more time. I'm gonna break script just a little bit. Let's run kappa and see what happens this time. Yeah. I'm actually on script. I was supposed to do that anyway. So we should get an actual analysis now that we've unpacked it. Okay, this is looking way more promising at this point. Okay, almost finished. And we're done. All right. And so keep in mind, like a lot of this information we're probably going to need to answer the question. So what is it telling us? Malware samples. We've got the hash, the SHAs, the MD5, defensive evasion, discovery, execution, persistence. Okay. Registry keys and start folder, which is where a lot of some programs will put like an executable here or a link to it that will run it every time you start the computer. That's an old technique, very old. Okay, debugger checking. So I'm just kind of browsing through this hash. Okay, I don't see anything that stands out here. And then capability. So anti-debugging compiler. Okay, so we got a lot of information. So let's go ahead and let's go. So this is what was the static analysis portion. So now let's go to the dynamic analysis. And honestly, guys, this is what I've done for many years. I learned this from a YouTube video, believe it or not, and I've just been doing it ever since and building onto it. But it actually helped me to be one of the few people on my team to be able to do malware analysis, starting back in around 2018, 2019. Okay. All right, so what they want us to launch, I'm going to click here and launch this. This is Process Monitor, and I use a lot of it. And if you want me to make a video showing the techniques I use, because I usually look strictly at the network connections, but like I said, I do a subset of what they do. They're showing you the complete thing, which I'm very impressed. So now what we want to do is we want to open Process Monitor. We got it, and we're going to focus on mysterygift.exe. So we're going to say process name, click this drop down box, and we'll change that to process name equals, and we'll say mystery gift.exe. Is that me or is it put? Okay. mystrygift.exe. Okay, so now that we got this, we got include, and we need to click the add button to add that process. And so it's only going to look at mysterygift.exe. And then it wants us to go to command prompt. Actually, does it want us to run this? No, we just need to rename it. Okay, so we're going to use the move command. So I'll click OK to save that. And we'll go back to our command prompt. And I'm going to actually, can I open a new command prompt? I'm going to keep that one open. See, it's a lot easier in Linux. Okay. All right. Can I do a new one? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So now that I'm in command prompt, I can go here and I can navigate to that folder. And I'm just going to shortcut it. So cd desk asterisk /mal asterisk. So that gets me to the folder. That's a really helpful tip for navigating Windows. And then I'm going to use the MV to move, which basically I'm kind of doing a copy command. Mystery gift to, so basically copy mystery gift to a file called mysterygift.exe. Now if I type directory, I should have two files, and there's my mysterygift.exe, and that's going to allow me to be able to double click it and execute it. That's all that step does. And once I execute it, I'm going to be able to see this. And so now I'm going to have to start excluding. So right now, nothing. We're pretty good. Okay. Let's see, do they want me to double click it? Yeah, they want me to actually go into the folder and double click it. So I will say, if you're doing this in a real world, you want to make sure that you spin up a VM, probably turn off the network connections, but keep in mind, some malware is VM or sandbox aware, which means it won't do all the capabilities because it'll be able to detect certain things within your environment and know that it's in a test environment or a virtual environment, and it won't fully execute. So this is not foolproof. So make sure you get that disclaimer. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to mysterygift.exe, and I'm going to move it down here. Probably would have been easier just to do it by command prompt, so we don't take up the space here. But let's move this all the way to the top, and we're going to double click I'm going to minimize this, and let's double click mystery gift. And we should start to see something if we got everything configured correctly. All right, so we got 2 command prompts, mysterygift.exe. All right, let's go. Let's take a look again. So we're not getting any data in it. So let's look at our filter and see if we messed up anywhere. Okay, bring that up. Mystery, M-Y-S-T-E-R-Y. Make sure I didn't spell anything wrong. M-Y-S-T-E-R-Y. gift.exe. Okay, all right, that looks good to me. Okay, and okay, so current event exclude. So we got a filter. I'm going to show you another technique. This is a good opportunity because just because something doesn't work doesn't mean you just give up. So I'm going to, okay, all right, that filter is gone. Interesting. Interesting. But you see, I'm not getting any data. So that stops the capture. That stops the capture. I'm really confused here. I'm going to actually close this again. So this is really bad from an analysis standpoint. All right, so we want to go back and we'll say process name. But see, right now, what concerns me is I'm not getting any data. I just executed this in a process monitor. I'm not getting anything. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I needed to select one of the filters first. So we'll select them all. Okay, now I feel better. Now let's go ahead and select filter and we'll type process name equals mystery gift.exe. And we'll click add and click OK. All right, so now we're filtered down. So now we're seeing the actual process. And so it wants us to filter out some of the data. So we need to search through and we need to eliminate certain features. So first thing we want to show, what are we going to use? Okay, we know that. I think they want us to look at registry first. So registry is going to be this little blue one with the little block to the side. So we'll uncheck all of these, and that just gives us the registry function. And so we want to exclude, right click, exclude what is open key. We want to exclude query value. So we're getting rid of all the noise. Part of cybersecurity is being able to filter out unnecessary thing to get to things that you're looking for. So reg query value, reg query key. There it is right there. We'll filter that out. And by the way, this is a skill you can actually put on your resume. And then we want reg close key. So now see how we are down to a manageable amount of events right now. This is what we want. And so by looking at this, before we even look at the guide, so I can see HKey current user, software, Microsoft Windows, current version run. So it's already set up itself to run automatically or something like that. That's the only reason we'll put yourself in that group. And then HKey current machine, current version run default. Okay. So we know we got registry keys there, and that's something we can investigate. I'm not as familiar with some of these other ones, but we'll see if we can get some information. But it's definitely let's show how to filter down. So let's see from part. All right, so we got that view, no issue there. You may observe that only the reg key has both reg create key and reg set key. This is related to persistence technique. Okay, so reg create key and set key value. So it's trying to emphasize that these are 2 keys that you're looking for because they're how the program basically is able to keep itself on the device so they can continue to reach out to the bad actor later and continuously. You can't get rid of it is what they're trying to do. So now we want to look for file modifications. So unclick all the filters and close, choose the show file activity. So I think we go to filters here. All right, we didn't put any new ones there, so that's cool. We had a whole bunch of exclusions. Let's see where those show up. Okay, yes, they're not here. So we can move here to file activity, and it wants us to get rid of create file. So let's exclude that. Create file mapping, we want to get rid of that one also. There it is right there. Query security file, we want to get rid of that one. That's the first one on the list. Query name information file, query name, there it is right there. Query basic information file. Close file. And then read file. All right, so once again, with all of those gone, we now have it down to a manageable amount of information. So you'll see your results. You will notice that the two files written under user, the C:user admin directory. So we've got files test.jpg was written here. You see how this is useful. This is really, really amazing stuff that you're getting taught for free. Okay, it looks like it put a startup in a batch file right there, so we can go grab that. And so this is giving us the ability to be able to find out what harm was done and being able to manually undo this harm to the computer. And this is what a lot of very expensive corporate programs are doing. So the user's temp directory, what do we see in the temp directory? That's where we got the test.jpg. And what else? Commonly, it's used as a place for malware to drop into the file for its disposal. The other file is written in the startup directory. So we see that. So now we're going to move on to network connections. And so for me in the past, this is really where I've spent most of my time, is looking at malware and understanding what it was trying to do, who it was trying to talk to. And I'll explain this in just a second. So lastly, let's confirm the attempts to make a network connection. So unclick all filters and choose the third filter, show network activity. We've done that. And please take a note of the domain so we can use this information to investigate the rabbit hole further. So we're looking at the best festival company.thm. And you see this is the source port 49713. This is the destination port, which is what you're typically looking for. This is what it's trying to go to. So port 80, the best festival company. Do we have anything else? And see this, I usually do my filter just down to TCP connects is what I'm looking at, but it looks like we got to send and receive here. So that's really helpful. Write file. Let's see what else we got. Virus total. Interesting. So is it checking itself against virus total? That's interesting too. Or is that when we were actually, no, but this is the file itself making a TCP connection to virus total. I wonder what's up with that. They didn't really give any explanation why, but I'm sure they wanted to illustrate something with that. So let's answer our questions now at this point. What is the architecture of the malware sample? So I kept all my windows open so that we could see this information. So let's see if this shows up. I don't really see anything here that's telling me the architecture there. Okay, so when we use the unpacking Win64PE mystery gift, okay, so that we use the UPX, that's from the unpacking command. So let's try that. Does that fit? Win64PE. See, that's not enough. WIN64P, no. So that doesn't fit. So I'm assuming the architecture. Let's look at when we unpacked it and we ran kappa again. Interesting. So it's here, but once again, I would always encourage you, don't be afraid to try things when you get it. So when you're doing these things, what is the architecture of the malware sample? 32-bit or 64-bit. Oh, I see what they mean. Actually, it's 32 or 64. Where did we get a chance to see that? 64. So Win 64. So I'm going to go with 64-bit. And I see that right here, Win 64 PE. Let's try to answer. Okay, that's correct. All right, what is the packer used in the malware sample? And you remember we saw this. See if I can bring this program up. Did I close it? All right. Okay, got it. Nope, I actually must have closed it. Interesting. Okay, but I remember from it, it was what was it, UPX? Okay, but we can easily reproduce it. We can just right click and open this with die, detected easy. And when we do that, it comes up here, and this is where we're able to see. Oh, and honestly, I wonder if since I unpacked it already, if that's why it's doing this issue. So, but anyway, I know from the exercise that when we did it the first time and we unpacked it, uh, it showed right here, UPX. Okay, UPX is the name of the program. 3.9.5. Make sure we note that just in case it asks that question. So I'll go ahead and enter that as the answer for number 2, UPX. Okay, that's correct. What is the compiler used to build malware samples? The compiler used to build what is the compiler used to build the malware samples? All lowercase. Let's see if we got that in our information here. Yo, I can't say I know the answer. Query environment variable. A64 compiler. Oh, there it is right there. Compile with NIM, N-I-M, and they want it in all lowercase. Okay. If we got it right. Okay, cool, we did. How many minor attack techniques have been discovered attributed to this discovery tactic? So this is going to be right here, the attack tactics. This is minor. They always spell attack with the and sign, A-T-T, and C-K, or ampersand. And so it looks like we've got 5, 1, 2, 3. Well, we got 4 based on what I'm seeing here, and there are 2 under the discovery phase. Let's check that. Let's try 4, see if that works out. Oh, that's incorrect. So how many attack techniques have been discovered? So maybe 4 categories, but 5 techniques. Okay, losing here. So attack techniques. All right, let's read the question. How many modern attack techniques have been discovered? Oh, attributed to the discovery tactic. I read that wrong. So there are 2. The answer is 2. I literally just said that and didn't even pay attention to reading the question. Oh, just a note to y'all. Always make sure you carefully read. Don't do what I just did. What is the registry key abused by the malware? What is the registry key abused by the malware? I think this is where we're going to go back to process monitor, and we'll go to the registry tab. We've already filtered down. All right, so I need to get rid of these, and we'll go back to there. And so for me, if I had to put it, I'm going to put this one, HT local machine. I hope this is a shared kit. It's not a shared clipboard. Ouch. So that's long enough. So it's got to be HKey local machine. So HKCU software, Microsoft Windows current version, run. Let's see if that's correct. Okay, that's correct. What is the value written to the registry key based on a previous question? Does it give us the value here? Didn't really tell us to go into all this. Just kind of looking to see what's there. Okay, set value. Reg. Does it show us the value? You see, that's really long. Okay, let's see. Reg value set. Okay, here's what it. All right, so based on what I'm seeing, okay, you can see right here. Okay, it's basically using that to run the windows.bat file. That's what it's doing. I don't know why the shared clipboard doesn't work for some reason. Do I have a copy function down at the bottom or something? Let's pray that I do. Stand split through machine information. I do not. Okay. So if I right click and I copy, can I paste that? No. Okay, so I got to type that. Okay, so C:\users administrator app data roaming Microsoft Windows start menu with a space programs startup wishes.bat. Let's pray I got that entire thing right. Okay, cool. What are the names of the two files created by malware under the C:\users admin directory? So this is where we're going to go to the file, uncheck registry, click on the file, and we'll filter down. And it wants us basically to give the files separated by comma. So the first one is 4 letters, so it's going to be test.jpg, comma, and then wishes.bat. Those should be the two files created. Okay, that's perfect. What are the two domains wherein malware is initiated network connections? First domain, comma, second domain in alphabetical order. Okay, very important that we read that, uncheck that, go back to the network connections. So in alphabetical order is basically okay, it's just two. So the first one is going to be best festival company .thm, comma, and then virus total.com. Let's double check that. Yeah, not sure what's going on here. Okay, the formula looks good. Okay, it's not saying. Oh, it is showing correct answer. Wow. No, it's not. Okay, there it is. Not sure what happened there, unless I was tripping. All right, going back to the string side of the malware sample, what is the complete URL used to download the file hosted in the first domain accessed by the malware? Okay, going back to the strings aside, the malware sample. What is the complete URL used to download the file hosted in the first domain? Okay, this is interesting. So it wants us to go back to strings. Let's do this. We got this open. Oh, so this is cool. So now that we've got this unpacked, so I think what we can do is filter down to .com. Or do we have garbage here? Oh, you know what? I just thought about it. We got to be careful because it may have gone to a URL. All right, let's look at the question again. So it's going to be, it's showing us it's got HTTP. Okay, that's all we had to do is put HTTP because we know the format. So that's a lesson learned. And it wants to complete, you are to download the file hosted in the first domain. So once it's talk in order, so it's going to be HTTP colon whack whack best festival company dot TryHackMe slash or tac or whack favicon dot ICO. And let's submit that. Give it a second because it looks like it's been taking a while for all of these. Okay, there it is finally. And then if you enjoyed the malware analysis, try the intro to malware analysis or this dissecting PE headers in the next room. And that's a wrap. Another exercise down. And I will see you. This is on 12. I'll see you on exercise 13. Thanks for watching.